Ladies and gentlemen, step right up, step right up. Beyond the threshold of this theme song lies the greatest show you've ever heard. A podcast where the topic is everything our fine specimens can think of. That's right, sit on down and have yourselves a listen to Groupcast. At center stage is Casey, creator of the show and part-time llama enthusiast.
Doing impressions since 1975.
On a soapbox somewhere in the hedge maze is Lennon, the comedian with the heart-made of video games.
You ever see those watch children signs? That's creepy.
In the Hall of Mirrors is Dave, the extreme, astounding,
I'm the bearded lady.
In the acrobatics tent is Amber, part woman, part goose, part excited puppy. That's an improper fraction, folks.
It's a miracle! What?
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Hey kids, welcome to Groupcast. You're here.
Oh.
I need to get more into position.
Welcome.
Howdy doody.
Welcome to the show. How do you like our new theme song?
I love the new theme song. I think it's awesome.
Cool, I thought of it in like 30 seconds.
Well, all good things come in 30 seconds.
That's right.
That's what I tell every woman I'm with.
Zing.
Well, I'm going to go shoot myself in the face now. I'll see you guys later.
Beautiful. What do I have to talk about? Oh, I have so many things to talk about today.
Do you?
These
I
are
do.
few of my favorite
Topics.
I should bring up my stuff too.
Yes, you should. Okay, let's... all my stuff is everywhere.
All your stuff?
All my stuff...
Are you disorganized? What? This is like episode 120. How are you still
It
disorganized?
is episode
Have you not
120.
figured out the formula yet?
No, I was removing the clutter.
Formula is there is no formula.
At this point,
Well, that's
yeah.
true, yeah. Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. So, where do we want to begin?
Who's Dr. Phil going to talk to this episode?
Well, what you need to do...
I liked that. I liked last week's episode. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's technically 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rewind. I liked the last episode we did. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that we did last
Doc
week.
Brown, is
Well,
that you?
The one
we
that we
travel back in time.
did. The one that we did last week, right?
Yeah. Just last week's episode, yeah.
Oh wait, no, that was 2 weeks ago. We need to start over.
Rewind. You know, I like the last episode.
Okay, now that joke's over. Okay. So I have some very exciting news.
Oh, yeah?
This has to do sort of with Banjo-Kazooie, and I know you like Banjo-Kazooie. You don't care, and I don't know about you.
Never played Banjo Gazoobie, but I'm okay with it.
Up until the How to Play, I hadn't played it either. And I loved it. I mean, it
I'm sure if I were to play it, it would be fun.
It controlled really tight. I thought it was fun. It was never really tedious. But of course, I knew how to do everything, so I wasn't exactly.
I
looking
hadn't
around.
played it. I hadn't even heard of it until Nuts and Bolts came out,
That's too
Really?
bad.
which is kind of funny. But I got all three of them in like one sitting. And
Oh,
played
yeah.
them all. So yeah,
Nice.
it's cool.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Nuts and Bolts?
My opinion on it is probably different than everybody else's because I like the game. It just doesn't work as a Banjo-Kazooie game. Like if it was,
Right, yeah.
if it was its own franchise, it would be a lot better.
Was it
that's a
John who
respectable
said if
opinion.
it was like Tip Top Nuts and Bolts,
I
it would have
think
been
so,
like
yeah.
a decent game? Yeah.
I like Tip Top because every time you stomp on his feet, he goes, "Ooh!" He just sounds so mad. He sounds like
yeah.
an angry dad.
Go in your room!
What are you doing over there? Oh, it's my uncle. He came back.
He's a turtle. He's been a turtle all
So
along.
anyway, this exciting news is I mentioned quite a number of episodes about this
this is
Twitter-
Grant Kirkhope's thing, right?
Twitter page called Minji Django,
Right.
which is a Twitter account for these people who worked at Rare, decided to quit, come together and make their own game.
Ooh.
They what together?
Come together and make their own
okay.
game.
I heard like Gump.
Come together.
I don't know what the fuck that
They are
meant.
not clever men. But yeah,
They're somewhere in a room right now, just in a giant pile of like ooze. That's they gump
they
together.
gump, they gump together.
The act of gumping together.
Welcome
is
to
like,
Gumpcast.
It's like
Well-
fusion
welcome
by
to
ooze.
Gumpcast.
Yeah.
So they have the name of the Twitter page is no longer Minji Django. It's now Platonic Studios.
Nice.
Because they are now officially, as of like February, working on a new spiritual successor to Banjo Kazooie.
Fantastic.
Now, is this in the same way that, like, the dude who made Mega Man's making a new quote-unquote Mega Man, where it's not, but
My
it is?
number 9 man?
Yeah.
Well, from the pictures I've seen, it looks Banjo Kazooie-esque,
Right. But it's
But-
not.
but it's not. I don't.
Right.
I don't think it's like that though. I think it's a different thing entirely. But
Yeah.
it still has the feel.
Of course, yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool.
it's not like Mega Man into Mega Man.
Yeah.
That you can just hear the quotes that I put there. It's more like Banjo Kazooie into Jambo Gazoobie or something like that. I tried to
I
do
would
a
play Jambo Gazoobie.
Are you
I tried to
listening?
do a quick anagram
We just
there, it
came
didn't really
up with a
work.
name for you.
Yeah, Grant
You're welcome.
Kirkhope, if you're listening to this episode,
Well, he's not.
send it to print.
He's not
Just
Grant-
send it to print.
He's not Grant Kirkhope. If he's going to do that, he's going to be Garnt Poke Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Kirk.
Grant Ghost Pope.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about this. I don't know what platform or how long it's going to take. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's coming.
Cool.
It's coming soon.
Like, I would say probably maybe 2 years or something like that. I mean,
It's hard to say.
If you're working in a small group, I mean, I don't know how many people are in this thing, but if it's a
15
smaller group,
people.
that's going to take a little
Yeah.
while to do.
Yeah.
You know, some of these games they can take forever to put together. Like, for some reason, I'll probably always remember this just because it was the way that it worked out. Right after I graduated high school is when they announced Diablo 3.
Right.
Okay.
And my friend Matt, who I've played countless hours of Diablo 2 with, during high school, I mean, we would play for probably 6 or 7 hours, like 3 times a week or something. And we clocked so many hours into that freaking game. He told me about it, like, we were just taking a trip somewhere right after graduation. He goes, they announced Diablo 3. How do you think this game will be out in like 2 years or something? I said, I think we'll be lucky if this game's out before we graduate college.
Yeah.
And
Came out pretty quickly though, didn't
it was
it?
like 3 years or something like that, and they kept the updates coming pretty nicely, so
Yeah.
we were abreast of everything.
Right.
But
At least
So-
you know that things would progress.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it when a company
I
does
heard
that.
Yes.
that
Exactly.
Diablo
Progression.
3 wasn't that great.
It didn't have, for whatever reason, it didn't have the staying power. I mean, Diablo 2, we played for so many hours.
Christ.
I played through 3, and then I played through it like again, and then one more time, and I don't think I've touched it since.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh,
Erica's dad, however,
Yeah, he
he's
plays
playing
that
that every time we're over there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I think he lives in that chair, honestly.
Yeah.
One thing I did hear though is that it got better with the Reaper of Souls expansion.
Probably. I
From
mean,
what
there
I-
were a
from
few
what I
things
understand.
that were a little
I don't
weird
know.
about it, and I mean, like, there's legendary items in the Diablo series, which are these. They have these preset abilities, and they're all usually fucking awesome. They're like as good as things can get. When I was playing that game, getting one of those was practically impossible. And now it's made probably about the same as it is Diablo 2, where if you see one, you go, "Oh fuck!" But it's not like an incredibly rare occurrence, you know. But I never got one when I was playing because the drop rate was so low.
I've never played a Diablo game.
2 is fun. We should do what we tried to do when I was the Hodgepodge cast.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
Oh, we had this
Back
amazing
when you
setup.
were Penis Frampton.
Well, that was my name on that game. Yeah, it was Penis Frampton. Where it was me, it was Matt, who I was talking about. It was Rolls, and it was
Shannon?
Shit, it might have been. He might have not shown up. It might have just been the 3 of us. But we were playing Diablo 2 on hardcore,
Oh.
and we were we were recording it, and we were trying to get everything to work out right. It was just impossible to get all the files together because everybody's files was a different format, and Rolls, being the cheap son of a bitch that he is, found like some shitty like Chinese game capture shit,
Oh, yeah.
and the file format was like letters that don't exist in the alphabet, and I have
That's
no
great.
idea what to do with this. So unfortunately, we didn't make it work, but we played for like 4 hours or something, and it was pretty funny because the only thing I really remember about it was that you hold down Option, and anything that's on the ground gets highlighted with the name on it, so you can kind of see what's going on. And as you play, you kind of just tap it when you like move a screen over
Yeah.
or whatever and see what's on the ground. And Rolls, this concept was just unlearnable. And he's like, "How do we know when there's stuff here?" And we're like, "Hold Option," and he would be like, "I'm like, no, hold." And he'd, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you."
That sounds exactly like Rolls too.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun though.
Because
I mean,
it
we
was
should do
he
that.
was the one doing it.
I would totally be down for it. It's not that hard to get Diablo 2. I have it. I don't know how many times we can copy it to a different computer.
Right.
Or you
But
just buy it.
well, yeah, there's that too. I mean, we could probably figure this thing out. It might
I
be
think I
fun.
have the discs around somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, considering now we need to focus more on video game stuff.
Apparently, yeah. You got an email that's like, we like your video game stuff.
Yeah, and we
other
really
things,
don't.
but
We really don't do video game stuff.
we've done
very
like
much.
2 video game things.
Yeah,
No, 3.
and
We've done 3.
Every single time, it's been a disaster.
It's been okay.
No, it's been a disaster.
I like the Smash
tried-
video. I thought the Smash video was good.
Okay, that may have been our best.
Yeah. And our best was Wes playing Five Nights.
Oh God.
That was our best.
That was our best. Okay.
No argument there.
It's a shame it didn't work out as well as I liked it to. But when we did your capture the flag map, that never came out, did it?
Nope, because
it was-
because half the people you couldn't hear them.
Yeah, we didn't have. We only had one mic at the time, and that
Well,
was. Our
I
problem.
had my own microphone that
Yeah.
recorded me.
Oh, Wes had his.
Yeah, and
That
I
was
was
about
like,
all we
And I
had,
was like,
though.
Wes, why don't we just record with the one microphone and make it omnidirectional? No, that would sound terrible.
No, it was what we should have done.
Yeah.
Except Riley was facing the complete opposite direction as everybody else.
That's true, but
So
he had
it
his own
wouldn't have
mic.
worked right.
He had his own
did
mic.
he? Yeah. Well, it was too bad it didn't work out. Basically, you had built a big capture the flag map.
Yeah.
It was
It
this
was
giant
enormous.
wood building, enormous, and it looked like a piece of a Minecraft world had just been picked up from somewhere else and dropped in this area and
Yes.
surrounded in a giant box. It was beautiful. It was lit up on the top, and it just looked really cool.
So what game was this for?
it was Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Was it Minecraft? Okay.
Yeah, and each team had a piece of wool, and they hid it somewhere on their half of the map, and
Okay.
the other team had to find it. And you had like swords and shit.
Yeah,
You
we
had
had-
to build your
Yeah,
shit.
you had to
build
you
your
had I think 15
equipment.
minutes to build something.
Yes.
Right.
And it had to be in plain sight.
I've actually
You
been
had
on a
to
couple
have-
servers where they have like dedicated areas for that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it was amazing, and we had a great time doing
Yeah,
it.
that was
the whole
before-
thing was very entertaining.
That was
the video would
before
have been
I
great.
realized that you could get a program like MC Edit and just
build
like
it, and
drop
have it.
in like giant walls. But
Yeah.
no, I built that shit by hand.
Yeah, and that's very impressive.
Yeah.
I thought it was very fun, especially one moment where I had infiltrated the enemy's side.
Yeah.
We were on a team, right? It was you and me. And
No, it was
oh,
me and Riley.
No, it was me.
Or it was
I
me
thought
and
it was
Wes.
me
No,
and
it was
Riley.
it was me and Wes and you and Riley.
Yeah. I had infiltrated the other side, and I was just looking around, and I couldn't find it, and I just couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it. And then later on, when I reviewed the footage, I jumped into a pool of water, and I landed on the wool block
Yeah.
and did not notice. And then
Nice.
extended the game like a half an hour.
The other thing that you did, there were two other things you did. One, you got out of the map because, as it turns
well,
out,
we all did, because there was like a hole somewhere.
yeah,
and
I
we
tried
got
to
our way
block
out.
up all of the places
Yeah.
because, as it turned out, one side this just happened to work out because I just picked a spot at random to build
Yeah,
this
and it didn't work
giant
out
room.
because there was a giant
One-
fucking cave
Yeah,
underneath.
one side exclusively had that giant cave system. The other side was full of trees.
Yeah.
The other side was
Oh, it looked nice. It was very plain
Very
kind of
yeah,
deal. Yeah,
because one side it was split right down the middle.
Yeah.
One side had the caves
Yeah.
and all field. The other side had all trees and
Yeah.
no cave.
And I got cheeky a
Yeah,
little
you
bit
did.
in that game.
You also-
I, before I knew how beds worked, like I didn't realize like if you broke a bed and that would eliminate the spawn. I thought if you put it down somewhere, then the player would still be tied to that
Okay,
bed.
right.
So what I did was I took their beds when they weren't watching, and I went to the bottom of that giant cave next to lava and set their beds down, and then built a giant wall everywhere else except directly into the lava, hoping that when they died, they would just respawn down there, and then that would be it. That didn't work out.
The other thing that you found was the hidden chest of diamond armor and swords and arrows.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was. Directly in the middle of this map was a river.
Yeah.
And it split the place in two.
Yep.
And right at the bottom of that river was a chest hidden away, and above it said, it had a sign that said, "Congratulations, you've won."
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
We did eventually win. I don't think it was because of that, necessarily, but
But yeah, if the
we eventually won. It'd be cool to be able to try and pull that off again if we can.
the
I
other
think it's
thing I
doable.
really liked about that was I made a preview for it where I just did like a
Yeah.
cinematic thing.
Yeah, like a bunch of
viewing-
flybys.
Yeah, and I found this
epic
really
music.
like epic action movie sort of music to go along with it. And I sent it. I was so proud of it. I sent it to Wes immediately. I was like, Wes, watch this. I'm at work. I don't care. Watch it right now. And he's like, I had to watch it like 3 times because I was crying.
I watched it a couple times. I thought it was very interesting. And the other thing that was never released that we did in Minecraft was a hardcore where
we were going to do that.
We were going to fight the Wither. That went
about as well as you would expect.
Honestly, it went. My death was so bullshit.
Yes, it was. Were you the one who got hit by the spider and fell? No,
that was Riley. We found almost immediately. We dug into our house was a mountain, like our side. Okay. We dug into the side of a mountain, and during the night we were just digging down. I was hell bent on making ourselves a porch.
Okay,
and that's what I was. That's what I was doing.
That's what you did.
That's what I did. Well, the funny thing about that was that we spent so long finding coal. We couldn't find coal for the longest time, and I'm like, well, I'm going to make a porch, and I'm going to make wood floors. This was like maybe a half hour, 40 minutes in, and I dig one layer underneath where the porch is. Just a mountain of coal is underneath our porch. Like, well, our shortage is solved. So we almost immediately digging down, we found a mine shaft,
and it was terrifying.
Jesus. Not too long ago, I actually re-listened to the audio, and numerous times I go, we should not be down here now. And
I was just like, I'm gonna be here. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, we found a beautiful looking structure where the mine shaft kind of ended into this big wide open room, and there was a giant pillar of lava coming down the center. And I was like, this looks really cool. Let's get the fuck out of here. There was also a cave spider spawner up in like this little area, but it wasn't really spitting anything out.
Okay.
Like we stood there for long, it wasn't doing anything. So Riley decides he's going to build his way out because he couldn't quite reach it, and he builds his way out a little bit towards this giant lava pillar, and he successfully takes out the cave spider spawner. We go, okay, well that's good. We should still get the fuck out of here. And
when
then,
all of a sudden,
there are so many good angles of this across our
all
footage.
Watching. We're all behind him watching, being like, oh, all of
a sudden, out of nowhere, one little spider makes like this skydiving leap off of some ledge, hits Riley in the face, knocks him down to the giant pit, and he is immediately dead. And that's actually how Wes died a little bit later.
Yeah.
For whatever fucking reason, he went back there.
Yeah.
And that was it. But, okay, so the reason I died then was because we had built this, into a cave, and we had this staircase going down. We didn't quite light it well enough.
Okay.
So one of the creepiest things in my footage that I was definitely going to include when I was going to make this thing was I was just looking down this stairway, and then the skeleton just walks across from one end to the other. And I go, well, that was creepy as shit. And it happened like 3 times, and I eventually said, we need to take care of this. So I was going down there, and you were with me, Casey. You were also there. And
I was right behind you.
We were going to fight some stuff, and I dashed past a skeleton to turn around and start swinging at him, and then all of a sudden I blew up from behind.
Yeah, I think I think it was like there was a gravel wall or something. You dug through it, and it was just there.
It was just there. You never saw it. It never happened, and I had just built like a ton of armor.
I have to say, despite all that, I think my death was the most hilarious because
Wes died.
After Wes died, I was like, well, this is over.
You jumped into the river
and drowned myself. I went,
swing low, sweet chariot.
Yeah. We also built graves for everybody because Riley died first. We built this gigantic mausoleum for him.
And Riley at one point he goes, "Hey, I got something for you." I go, "What?" And he throws me like one rose. I'm like, "Oh!" And then he died. He was the first one to die, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And we built him this gravesite, and I put my flower down there.
And then after Lennon died, I'm like, I'm going to build an equally massive and beautiful tribute. Yeah. I put one block of dirt. It was like Lennon died once.
It was a lot of fun.
That was really fun.
I would have loved to have done it again. The audio was actually kind of decent considering how we did it.
It was.
It was again just one microphone that we were all crowded around.
Yeah, the only problem was things like people were getting up and talking while they were supposed to be dead.
We were doing it when you're dead. You're gone from
Yeah.
the video, and we didn't do that very well.
But
Especially Wes.
someday we'll get back into it, I think.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the whole start of this
Sounds like
conversation was
Wes.
the fact that somebody said, we like your gaming stuff. So
Yeah,
Right.
so
doing more gaming stuff would be pretty cool.
I suppose we had better do that.
Yeah, we can. Honestly,
Are you
when
not
this is-
entertained?
When this is done, we can just
So
film
really,
something now.
it's only the three of us who would be interested. I don't
Yeah.
think
That's
Amber
okay.
or Erica would care.
What about the wall? There you go.
There's also the wall.
The wall will do it.
So, speaking of Amber, I feel like bringing you back into the conversation.
Oh my God, Amber's here.
Segue.
Holy shit.
You recently watched a show that
Yes.
that we just happened upon by chance
Yes.
after watching a very depressing Robin Williams movie.
Yes.
Hmm.
Which was still a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was just
the
sad as shit.
Yeah.
what was it? The Angriest Man in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
haven't heard
And
of
he's basically dying.
Is that why he's so angry?
But he has
No,
he has a brain aneurysm, and his doctor
Is
is
that
trying
the angry guy? His
Huh.
doctor? Is his doctor
No,
angry?
his doctor is Mila Kunis, who takes pills
Yes.
Really?
and gets fucked by Louis C.K.
Yep.
At one point. He's like just at one point. There's a
Is he
flash.
angry? He's angry all. He's
Yeah.
angry a lot. Is he
At
the
one
angriest
point,
man in
At
Brooklyn?
one point, there's a
You got
flashback.
who's the angriest man in
Robin
Brooklyn here?
Williams.
Oh, okay.
He has
Well, that was my first question. You said no.
he has the brain aneurysm, and his doctor tells him he's dying and needs to go to a doctor. And he's like, "When am I gonna die?" And
You are a doctor.
And, like, and then he like yells at her, so she just tells him he has 90 minutes to live.
Yeah, that's how long the
90
movie is.
So then he
It's
like
95.
so then he like runs around Brooklyn trying to like make amends with everybody, but it was really depressing, and he died at the end.
90 minutes to live, and that's a cool way to do that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
And that's a good. Honestly, that's a good choice for a lead too.
Yeah, it
that's
is.
pretty cool.
Because this was 2014. So.
It was
Yeah,
his last.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, was it his last?
No, his last was Night at Museum 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
so
Oh
it was
yeah,
his
that's
second-
bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's probably his last
What a way to go out.
headliner thing.
Maybe.
I don't know what that word. Starring
Lead,
role.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so then we were like, okay, well, let's watch something funny. Now, Netflix has a couple original shows, like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. Like, all of their original shows are actually pretty good.
Uh huh.
So there's this comedy that
Except-
it keeps... No.
Oh, okay.
Not except.
Oh, all right.
There's this comedy that it has, like, every time, like, I log into...
Written by Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
it's really
Okay.
good.
Every time I, like, open Netflix, it's like, hey, you should watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And I'm like...
Oh, I heard about that.
And I was like, add to my list, go away. And, like, every time I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And it's about these girls. It opens, these
start.
4 girls, they're just like Mennonites. They're just
Oh,
in,
that's
like,
what that one is. Okay, yeah.
They're
I'm
just
with
like in a metal bunker.
Yeah.
And they're like,
4 Mennonites walk into a bunker.
and they're talking about like,
Rob Schneider is a carrot.
they're talking about Christmas, and they like all gather around this tiny ass Christmas tree, and they're like, "Apocalypse, apocalypse, we cause it by our dumbness."
Apparently, there was some like
Okay.
priest,
Reverend.
Reverend
Yeah.
in 2000 who was like, "World's gonna explode. All you young people, come with me into a bunker."
Yeah.
And so they were locked in this bunker for 15 years, and then a SWAT team comes in within the first 5 minutes and takes them out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're in New York
And they have to
on like
readjust
on
to-
the like the NBC,
Yeah.
ABC something with like that
Yeah.
guy in the morning show, and they're calling them the Mole Women because they're underground for so long, and they're like, "That's not the name we like. Like, don't call us that. That's insulting." And the one girl, Kimmy Schmidt, decides that she's just gonna stay in New York and live there and just not be a mole woman, because if she goes back where
And,
she's
and the
from,
theme song is a songified version of an interview with a black dude.
just like
Really?
Yeah.
like that Hide Your Wife, Hide Your Kids.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
give
what I was
away.
Yeah,
That's
what
my
I thought.
favorite.
That's what I
That's
thought
my
too.
favorite.
That's what I was singing in the kitchen while I was making pizza omelets.
Oh, okay.
With Dinah.
Yeah, but it's so funny. Yeah, but
Making pizza.
yeah, he's just like how they're unbreakable. And my favorite part is just like, it's a miracle. They lied to me, and it's been stuck in my head for like 2 weeks, and people have been threatening to punch me in the face a lot because I keep being like, it's a miracle.
I keep seeing commercials for it. And most commercials that I see for shows like that, I think, it's gonna flop.
Imagine.
I guess it's pretty good.
Imagine 30 Rock,
Yeah.
but with a different plot.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's-
good.
it's
Tina Fey does
exactly-
And
good work.
it's awesome because like she has to get a roommate, and he's a black gay guy who's like super feminine, and their landlord is like from like a hippie who has like so many extremist views, and it's just she's like a nanny for a family.
The black dude frequently breaks into song.
Yes, she's a nanny for a family with a teenager who's very teenagey, and a mom who's like, I can't go outside, I just had a facial peel and I have to go take a nap, so give my dog a 90-minute Swedish massage. Like that's her life, and it's pretty funny.
Excuse me while I go bathe in Starbucks.
Well,
No, more like, excuse me while I go bathe in Bucks.
yeah, really. Well,
Money.
Speaking of television shows we've all seen recently,
Oh, yeah.
I saw this show was coming on right before I left to come to the podcast today, and I kind of wish I had gotten to see it because it was like so low budget and like ridiculous that I really wish I had gotten a chance to take a hard look at it. It was called Mystery Hunters.
Okay.
And it was basically
Very nondescript.
the Saturday morning kids version of Ghost Hunters.
Oh.
Which makes me first question the title of Mystery Hunters. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
we're
it's
hunting
specifically ghosts. Like, there's plenty of synonyms for ghost, but they couldn't come up with anything, so they just turned out an episode of Scooby-Doo and went, oh, the mystery, oh, that's it.
Oh,
or
there it is.
whatever. I could tell this show was going to be bad because they were doing, like, you know, like a quick preview of what's going on for, like, 2 minutes, you know, at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And the
Last time on Mystery
the
Hunters.
most interesting part was a guy showing, like, a group of fucking, like, 4th graders, like, a prison cell in Alcatraz, going, somebody said they saw something here once. And I'm like, that's how this whole show is going to go. I can tell
like,
right
That
now.
is
Is it like
fantastic.
that fake show that shows up just randomly in the middle of Supernatural sometimes?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that called Ghost Hunters? No.
No, there's an actual show called
Yeah, that's a
Ghost
real
Hunter.
thing. That's
It's a real show about fake things.
yeah.
What is that show in the middle called?
I don't remember.
It's it was pretty interesting.
Ghost Crew. I don't
They
remember.
were also taking
It's Ghost Pope.
Ghost Pope.
They were also taking a group of small children through, I think, like these crypts in I think Scotland or something like that. And
They were
taking
taken them through these crypts and they got shot for wearing red.
Ghost
There you go.
Facers.
Oh! That
But,
was funny.
Ghost Facers.
Ghost
Ghost
Facers.
Phasers.
There you go.
Ghost
Set
Facers!
Set Ghost Phasers to stun. But
We're all sorts of witty today.
They were taking them through this haunted crypt, and they kept going to like a mini interview with somebody, and they're like, yeah, when I walked through there, like I felt really weird, and then I had like scratches all over my back, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah, it was
whatever.
awesome.
And then somebody was like, I went in there and I like passed out immediately, and then they were talking to some priest, and he's like, we had a story once where a woman walked in there, and all 5 of her fingers on her left hand suddenly broke. I'm like, why are we not interviewing that woman? That's like the one woman, and I doubt that happened. Otherwise, that would be national news.
Yeah.
Like, woman walks into crypt, ghost breaks her fucking fingers. That's not the story that kind of gets swept under the rug.
So, okay, so what kind of show was it?
Terrible. That's what it was.
What I'm asking is, like, was it
It was.
like Ghost Hunters where they were trying to be serious about it?
Yeah. To
Okay.
borrow a joke from John Caparulo, my favorite comedian, it was like those shows where they're going to Loch Ness, and it's like, hey, well, it's an hour and a half of, hey, we're going to Loch Ness. We didn't find anything. Tune in next time where we're probably not going to find anything. I love that joke because he goes, it's an hour and a half of 4 dudes in a boat going, yeah, he's not fucking over here either. We don't know where he is.
Maybe he's over there.
Yeah.
That's like,
If you guys have never heard John Caparulo, remind me when this is over, and I'll show you like
I've
a
seen
5-minute clip of him. He is so fucking amazing.
we
No
watched Ancient Aliens on the History Channel.
Oh, I bet that's a good
I
one,
did for the
yeah.
first time. I don't know if you guys
Is that
seen
guy
it.
still crazy?
Yes, the Aliens guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they advertised the show with him.
Does his hair
good,
like
good.
is his hair
Like,
like even
At least
taller now?
they're accepting the
There
insanity.
was an advertisement before the show came on, well, just in between for commercials,
Right.
where it's like, it looks like an overhead shot of some like mysterious canyon. There's like a divot, and it's like, oh, what could that be? Is it like gonna? And it starts zooming out. It's like, oh, is it gonna show us where it is? Zooms out more. It turns out it's a hair follicle, and it keeps going and going, and you see this guy with his freaking hair just sticking up, and you just see his eyes wide as shit.
Yeah.
And it says, Ancient Aliens.
That's clever.
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's pretty good.
It was pretty funny, but I
like
just
it.
think it's funny that...
man.
I mean, how could they not
Yeah.
monetize on that?
No.
With that guy.
Exactly.
'Cause he's
That's
clearly
the
craziest.
aliens guy.
If
He
I
is-
was an
yeah.
executive at the History Channel, that's on,
Hardly.
but it's the History Channel.
Yeah, that,
Hardly.
the quote unquote History Channel.
that guy is the ambassador.
I would
for
do the
aliens.
exact same thing.
He's the
It used to
alien
be.
ambassador.
It used to be Alf. It's now this guy. Yeah. You know
I
what?
don't mean to interrupt.
Hey.
but
Oh, it's the wall.
Oh, it's a
speak
wall.
into this microphone.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Have I got a story for you?
Ooh.
So you may remember this. I was watching the Food Network.
Okay.
And there was a baking show about aliens, and guess who was one of the guest judges?
Pauladine.
No,
Oh.
that fucking
Alf.
He was about ready to
Alf.
say yes. He thought you were
Yes.
going to guess
Alf
correctly.
was there. Well, I think it's a little bit chewy.
Could use more cat.
I'm fucking orange.
Oh, Alf humor.
He really only had one joke, and that was that he fucking ate cats.
Yeah, that's the whole. That was his whole deal. That was the entire. You just summed up 5 seasons of Alf. He eats cats, guys. He eats cats. That's his thing. Yeah, it's interesting. So we probably should have opened the show with this, but April Fool's Day was a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Did nobody? I'm guessing nothing happened to you. Nobody did anything.
Of
Anybody
course
do
not.
anything? Anything to anybody?
Though I did talk to somebody who frequents a stream that I watch.
Okay.
And in the chat, he talked about how he had to memorize like a whole bunch of stuff for a Latin test he had coming the next day. Got into his class, and the teacher was like, "Oh yeah, that was April Fool's. You don't have to do it."
Oh, that
And,
one hurts.
and he came back
Oh,
the
that
next day. He's
sucks.
like, "Guys, so pissed right now."
Nailed it.
But nothing happened to me. I
Yeah,
put out
I-
a video about from stuff you've probably wondered,
Yeah, it was a good video.
which was instead of teaching you things that you wanted to know, it's teaching you things you were already aware of.
Yeah, my favorite one is cats always land on their feet, except when they don't.
My
was
favorite
pretty
one
good.
was elephants make really bad paperweights because sometimes they don't stand still.
I put out an April Fool's video also, and it got positive reviews thus far.
Cool.
It was very good.
How to play PT.
Jesus Christ.
PT, for those of you who are living under a rock, is the upcoming. It was a demo for the upcoming Silent Hill game,
Yeah,
in which you walk down the same hallway over and over and over again, and
it gets creepier
It
as you
gets-
go.
And
really creepy.
sink fetuses.
Yeah,
something
sick
you would
fetuses.
like, especially Amber.
Cool.
If I had a PS4,
Oh, you know
I would
what?
I would make
you
you
would
play
enjoy
it.
that game. You would
Yeah.
enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
On April Fool's Day, I worked at the place that I only work at on Wednesdays. And this girl, she's almost Christina Level Dumb.
Oh boy!
Almost. Couldn't beat that.
First, she has a lisp. Second, she likes to stand right in your face, like she's trying to give you an Eskimo kiss while she's talking.
Oh boy.
And if you step away, like backwards or sideways, she will waltz with you. She will step with you. So I like football level feet practice with her because I hate when people do that. But she was like, I got my boyfriend real good for April Fool's Day. I was like,
Did she have a mini stroke like that?
I can't talk either. But she was like, I hate you. April Fool's. And I got it so good.
Is this Fran Drescher that you're talking to? What is
That was literally what she said to me. And I was like, my eyes were like in the back of my head. And I was like, that's so cool, Tiffany. That's so cool.
Her name would be Tiffany.
What is the best April Fool's joke you guys have done?
I have never done an April Fool's.
Really? You're
Can we
boring.
do what-
I
Can we
I
do
haven't
what
done
got
many.
to us?
Okay.
Because 5th grade.
Oh boy!
5th grade, 2005.
This
Uh-huh.
is an Amber story, so buckle up, everybody.
Yeah.
So, those desks, those metal desks that are just like all over the
Metal.
place. And they have the...
Yeah, you know.
Desks,
And they're-
you know, yeah.
And they have like the ceramic or porcelain top, whatever
Yeah.
it is. I don't know what it is. And they're ugly, and they just have that place where you put stuff, and it's never organized.
Yes.
You just
Oh
shove the shit
yeah,
in there.
Yes.
So I was in the front row, and these two boys who were like pretty good friends, but they always made fun of each other, were walking in from the bathroom or lunch or somewhere. And a guy named Aaron, Trip Tyler, and Tyler fell and like smacked. Like I heard a thump on my desk, and I like jumped back. He stood up. There was like blood in his mouth, and it was disgusting. And he was like freaking out. And then they just started laughing. They had blood tablets in his mouth to make it look like he was bleeding. And we all almost, like, we were already calling the nurse. And, like,
Oh, wow.
it was insane. And
For fifth graders, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we all fell for it, too.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
almost
man.
cried.
That's pretty
It was
solid.
my desk. I was afraid there's blood on it.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, who cares about that guy? I had blood on my desk. It's gonna take weeks to get out.
They just
I would know. This is the second time I've had it.
Dun,
I have two.
Okay, go ahead.
The best thing that I think I've ever done was there's a decently tame and yet sort of common one where you like set somebody's alarm back an hour so it goes off. Well, it's getting up at like 7. It goes off at 6, and they're like and then they realize whatever. I sort of did that, but with a little twist, where I changed every clock in the house ahead 1 hour. So it looked like 7, was not 7. That was my favorite one, but...
Oh, I was gonna say...
Yeah.
What you should have done is set the alarm back an hour and set all the other clocks
Oh.
forward an hour.
Ooh, that hurts. That would be ugly. I'll have to do that for next year.
It's over there.
The one that I've done that just happened to sort of work the
Okay.
best was the old classic rubber band on the sink hose.
Yeah.
Where you turn the wire on,
Oh, man.
spray. And I did this, and I'm like, hee hee. I'm like, 10 or what. I'm like, hee, this is going to be good. Because I did that when I was 10. And so I set it up, and I'm going, oh, this is going to be fun when somebody uses the sink. What it did not account for was that day my parents were going to some big fancy dinner party thing, and my mom had this beautiful dress on, and she turns the thing on, she's like, God damn it! She was so fucking mad. And she got upset, and she walked away, and Dad goes, all right, well, you should have done that, but it was kind of funny. And then the real kicker is that like 5 minutes later, she comes back and she fucking does it again. And my dad lost it. He goes, all right, well, that one's on you. That one's completely on you.
Nice.
So it worked twice, and that was fun.
Yeah. Did Google do anything?
Google changed maps into Pac-Man maps.
Oh, I did not. I never used maps on that particular day.
YouTube had an interesting one that I noticed.
I didn't notice that one either.
If anything that you searched for, it said, "Did you mean Darude Sandstorm?"
Did you guys? Speaking of that, did you guys know there's on Twitch? There is an entire stream that plays 24/7 that is exclusively that song.
I don't know.
I love it. That is fantastic.
It plays. It continues to play. It's playing
fantastic.
right now.
Does it top on Twitch all the time?
I wish.
Yeah.
Wish it was #1 all the time.
What is with that song that everybody loves it?
I don't know.
Shit.
Yeah.
I think it was the fact that it was used in the right places for the right things,
Yeah.
but nobody had a fucking clue what it was, so everybody had to know what it was,
Right. It
and
was
then
the
asking just became a thing.
It was the perfect song to do ecstasy to.
Exactly, yeah. But nobody knew what it was fucking called, so everybody had to ask what it was called,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it just became its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be funny if it just didn't have a name. Everybody just was like, it's that song that goes
How do you spell that?
several B's and V's.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, I think so. It's hard to get the tempo into words like
Right.
that.
This is kind of talking about Twitch.
Uh-huh.
So there is a speed runner that I know of named Trihex.
I know that name.
Yeah, his game is Yoshi's Island.
Oh, that's why I know
Super
that
Mario
game,
World
yeah.
2 Yoshi's Island.
Very nice.
His finger movement is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Because what he does to make sure, he has this shit down to a science.
Of course, you have to.
In such a way that he, in between moments where he's not playing, like when there's a loading screen or he's selecting something, he'll just be tapping on the controller
Practice.
and just doing things. He's like, I have to keep moving, otherwise I'll slow down. The really cool thing is, one day I was watching his stream because he was doing an official run.
Uh-huh.
And right before that, he's like, okay, so before I actually start, there's going to be 15 minutes where I'm going to be playing DDR. And I'm like, what does that mean?
With a controller?
He played he has a DDR clone of some sort where it's just any song from any DDR game on his computer.
All right.
And he hooks his controller up to that, the Super Nintendo controller, and he plays 2-player DDR, one hand, the D-pad is the left, and the buttons are the right. So he plays 2 games at the same time. They're both the same. They're the same buttons that you press. So it's really just you press the same buttons at one time. It is amazing. I recorded it and I will put it on the Groupcast page so you guys can see it because it is so amazing.
That's
that's
talent.
Jesus
You know when it's when sometimes you have to have 2 feet at the same time and hold it.
Yeah.
He will sometimes just go like back and forth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, instead of holding it because he
count.
can't do left and right at the same time.
Yeah.
Because he's using 2 hands. So he just mashes back and forth.
Wow, that's nuts.
But yeah, it's really
I would love to see that guy go like to a DDR, like in an arcade.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, guys, hold on. He like whips out a controller and just plugs it in somehow.
It's so crazy.
You should watch this guy dance. He's really good. It's just his thumbs. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Ever seen a guy dance with his thumbs?
And what's sad is he's not in first place for Yoshi's Island. He's 8th place.
Oh, wow.
So somehow, even with that, this guy is not in first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the first place guy must.
I would get into speedrunning, but I don't know what game I would do.
I
mean, I know a lot of games really well. Not that well.
I have one game that I'm good at, and that's Crash 3.
Yeah.
I know that game backwards and front ways and sideways and up ways.
I would do that Splatterhouse game that I did the How to Play on, but there's just one part of that game that kicks my ass all the time, and I don't think I'll ever get good at it. Because it's a boss fight. The boss has 1 health.
Okay.
And there's a constant... He's on one end of the screen, you're on the other, and there's a constant wind blowing. And you have to keep advancing, and if you swing... you get blocked back like just a little bit, but there's also it's spitting these jumping mice at you at decently random intervals, and you have to swing at those. If you get hit, you get flown all the way back to the under the screen. So you have to kind of creep your way up. You probably kill like 7 or 8 things before you get to the other side, and it's pretty bullshit. It's not easy.
That sounds it. But I looked at the leaderboards, and there's only 2 actual entries for that game. So
Splatterhouse?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could become 3rd place very easily.
There you go.
I'd be like 40 minutes back from everybody
I'm
else.
currently, out of 66 people on Crash 3, I'm 54th place.
Woohoo!
So, yeah.
Nice.
My highest place I've ever been was 51st, but it's been a while since I've gotten the record.
Yes, I think I'm going to speedrun Super Mario 64. I think I can.
Yeah.
I think I can be pretty good at that.
Surprisingly enough, not the most amount of entries in any game.
Yeah, but it's the most impressive entries out of every game.
Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine has the most amount of
Really?
entries. It's like 350 plus people on one leaderboard.
Ugh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder why that.
And that game takes hours, doesn't it? Like,
No, not really.
Really?
The speedrunner that I frequently watch, his record is 1 hour and 23 minutes for any percent.
All right.
The world record for that is 118, and for 100%, I think the world record is like 3 hours and something.
Yeah, that's a long one.
There are some pretty cool skips in Super Mario Sunshine, though. For example, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Super Mario Sunshine, but it's my favorite game.
Yeah.
So I know it pretty well. But there's a level where you're on a beach, and in the...
Shocking.
What a surprise,
I wonder why.
Because you're on an island. Everyone's a beach.
Yeah.
There's like a little hut out in the middle of the ocean connected by this really jaggedy boardwalk.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that, there's a shine hidden. Like
It's in a blender.
It's in a blender.
Yeah.
There's a blender on the top of the house.
Yep.
But you can't get to it any other way because it's for a later shine.
Yeah.
But what you do is you grab a coconut from one of the trees. You
do some little facing thing, don't you?
Yeah. What you do is you put it on the ground before the hut. You angle yourself so you're facing directly forward. Grab the coconut, jump on the roof, place the coconut. It will roll down the roof.
Yeah.
You'll roll with it, and then as it rolls off, you put on your hover nozzle and you go forward and you'll phase through.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
It makes me wonder how
crazy shit
people
these people
find
Yeah,
discover.
how do people figure that
Yeah.
out? It's amazing.
I mean, would that be like a code thing that you could figure out?
Possibly.
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
TAS runs are
Yeah,
really...
probably task runs will figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
There's some really simple things in even a game like Crash 3. For example, the two things that help you speed through that game like twice as fast is the neutral slide jump, in which somehow you glitch the game by sliding forward, pressing forward and sliding forward, then letting go of the direction and jumping, and then pressing forward again in midair.
And you go faster that way.
You go faster and you jump higher, so you can jump off of a lot.
Well, that's
higher
weird.
places.
Yeah, that's some weird shit.
Yeah, if I had my controller, I'd show you guys.
I thought about making a video for my channel called "How to Be a Speedrunner."
Oh yeah,
And it's going
Is
to
it
be like
tongue in
this.
cheek?
No,
It's going to be
good.
this huge satire thing where it's like, pick your game, and like I hold up Super Mario 64 and say, "Yeah, good luck with that." And it's things like practice for hours and hours, cry yourself to sleep at night, shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to quite work it yet. But it might be something I work on if I
be
can
cool.
come up with it. I want to put out 3 more videos this month. I want the next How to Play.
Yeah.
I want the next How to Play, and I want another short stupid thing, whatever that may be.
Is the
Undisclosed
next How to Play
project
Binding of
number 5.
Isaac?
Was that?
Is the next How to Play Binding of Isaac?
Yes.
Okay.
I still don't have an ending to that video, though. I've been thinking about it for like a month, and I just don't know how to end it. So that's the problem with that. The How to Play that's going to be after Binding of Isaac, though, I think is going to be a really good one.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So you could end Binding of Isaac by hiding in a box and crying yourself to sleep.
That's true. I already do that, though. That's the thing that happens regularly.
That's just Wednesday for me.
Yeah. That's where it should be right now. I got out of my box to come to the podcast. I was watching Mystery Hunters and everything. It was
All right, Shane Gillis, calm down.
fucking barks.
Go consider yourself.
It's pretty cool. Speaking of comedy, while we're on the topic,
Hey.
there was an interesting thing that happened in the comedy world that I would like the opinions of some non-comedy people
Okay,
on.
that
Me.
includes all of us.
Because for some strange reason that I don't know why, this has not left the comedy universe, this story.
Okay.
So most of us who are reading up on this expect Tumblr to just grab this thing and run,
Oh boy.
but it hasn't. So we're really
So
really
let's be
concerned.
the first to talk about it
Thank
before
God.
they get a chance to.
Yeah, I know, right? So just by mentioning Tumblr, we get like 30 views.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks to
Tumblr.
Our last 2 podcasts have just been amazing reviews because we talked about Tumblr and we talked about
Rey
Rey Mysterio
Mysterio.
killing that dude.
Yeah,
Those were the topics
have-
that...
Our last
rocketed us
podcast
to
has
success.
241 views as of right
Fantastic.
now.
And like 220 of them are just like Rey Mysterio kills a guy, and it's like, this is a podcast. Why did you click on this? Who sees a podcast?
Who are
and
you
goes,
people?
This is the video I'm looking
This
for.
is
It's
a video.
not.
This is a video that's an hour and a half long live.
Yeah, this must be like them taking the guy to the hospital and shit, and like pronouncing him dead, and they bury him. That's what this is. It's certainly not a podcast, as the name suggests. It's
Okay,
weird.
so comedy thing.
There was a guy. His name is Ari.
Speed rack.
Yes, that's it. That's it. He's Irish. He's a Jew. He's an Irish Jew. Ari O. Speedwagon. That's pretty funny.
That is pretty good, I like
That's
it.
pretty fucking funny. It's Ari. I think Shafir is his name. Something like that. He recently just got a Comedy Central special that aired not too long ago.
Okay.
He did a bit, and it's probably 3 or 4 minutes, where he talks about how much he hates this one comedian that he knows. She is this overweight, one-armed female comic.
Okay.
And
does she happen to work at a strip club?
she doesn't.
Okay.
She might have at one
Callback.
point.
That is a
She
really
doesn't
long
now.
callback.
And it is, actually. That's like the second episode I was on, or
Yeah.
something like that, where I talked about the West Virginia stripper. So, it's actually like a really mean fucking bit.
Okay.
Like he like other comics have said, there's nobody in their right mind who is like, oh, I'm killing it with this crowd. Let me do my comedian who's a fat one-armed stripper.
Okay.
So and that material kills. it was really mean-spirited. It was he says her full name outright,
Okay.
and then says things like she's so shitty, and then like
I'll Brendan Crick, really.
he really lost me. Like, and she smells terrible. It's like this has nothing to do with fucking
Yeah,
anything.
Right.
okay.
But this is on his Comedy Central special.
Do people laugh?
Yeah, the crowd found it kind of funny, and it had moments, I suppose, but it wasn't. It's not it wasn't a necessary thing to be doing. This one-armed comedian then put up a YouTube video. Now, being a overweight female one-armed comedian, what would you expect out of this video?
Was it the fact that she's a woman and has one arm and fat?
And not really.
I don't know what I would expect.
I would expect to have some sort of decently clever, kind of pretty funny comeback.
Yeah.
This was like a 5-minute video of her like just crying and being like, "I can do anything." Like the whole, it was not what anyone who was a comedian. Yeah, it's not anybody who is talking to a comedian would expect the comedian to react with.
Yeah.
You would expect like, "I'm a fucking fuck that guy."
Yeah,
Here's
right.
why I'm funnier than this. The Irish Jew. That's why I'm funnier than this guy. But no, it was like, I have overcome so many hardships. It was just whining. It was 6 minutes of whining, and I don't mean to diminish, her, because the dude really was kind of being a fucking dick about it.
Yeah, from what you're saying, it sounds like it.
The guy was a dick, but her response was not what you would expect out of a comedian. But all of these comedians that I'm friends with, and not to kind of put it out there, but they're all female comedians, are going, "Oh, we support her 100%." Is why I think Tumblr has not jumped on this. Surprises the fuck out of me. Yeah,
you just jinxed it.
I know, right?
It's coming.
And there was this big argument, and one guy jumped in and was like, "She's a comedian. How has she lost her mind so much about this?"
Yeah.
Like she's
Right.
a comedian. She knows she's fucking damaged.
Yeah, it's like
that's why we're all
Right.
comedians.
It's like Wes
We're
Williams was
damaged
saying on the
people.
last podcast he was on. If you're sad and depressed, you're going to be a better comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah. People
you'd
who
think
pep it
that
up are done.
You'd think that she would be at the top of the ladder at this point for being made fun of so
you
much.
would think
Right.
she would write a new 5 minutes.
Yeah,
or
all
something
about
like
how
it.
shitty this guy is.
Yeah, and that's what this guy said. He was like, this is not like the appropriate response for a comedian. It should be to kind of fire back in a clever way that people go, yeah, you fucking tell this prick. But then every other person on the post is like, you're just blaming the victim. And it's like, no, don't start saying that. There are bees that buzz less than those words.
Do you think she did it on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Do you...
She needed to say something. She didn't say it right, is what I'm saying.
So you don't suppose it was, meant to be ironic?
No. Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not. It's so
So
genuine.
it was her
Because I was
looking for pity.
Because I just had a
pretty
thought
much.
maybe it was like
That's what she got in.
I haven't seen the video,
Seems like
so
it.
I don't know. But
Right,
it
yeah.
seemed like for a second there, it seemed like the lady who does the cake around here, the woman who
does the cake,
who dresses in the really nice dresses and complains about rape as she just gobbles this giant slice of cake.
Oh, Regina De Catana.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's. It's not about rape. It's about the female image and how important it is in society. Yeah.
John, wait. Like is in... I don't know, that sounds a lot like a Daikatana, the one that Georgia Mayo game.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah. I never thought of that.
Regina Di Katana.
Yeah. If she had if I known she would have a fucking clue what that is, I'd Photoshop.
I only said rape because that's what she says in the
Well,
thing.
it's part of it.
But yeah,
it's actually a very clever
it's
bit.
clever,
not comedy.
but a lot of people don't get it.
It's not comedy. It's not comedy in the sense that it should be for a
It's like I was saying, it's ironic in
Yeah.
a way because she's like...
Oh, it's very ironic. What
Yeah.
she does is she goes up there with this giant fucking slice of cake and talks about how important the female image is in society.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
she's
just
eating a fucking cake.
Just shoving it right into her gob.
she's going down
Oh,
into this
God.
cake with her face.
Yeah.
And it's,
I think you guys have talked about this
it's
before.
actually
now that I think about
it's
It is
decently
I
funny
thought-
when you realize it's not a stand-up bit. It's
I
a
thought it
performance
was
piece.
funny every time I've seen it.
Yeah.
But
It's
a
kind
lot
of like that
people-
one guy with the ice cream.
A lot of
Who,
people...
I don't know. There was this one comic who said, I'm going to do this bit that usually gets me thrown out of comedy clubs, and it's pretty much him just sitting there eating ice cream, and that's it.
Okay. I that sounds familiar. I think I've
But
heard
no,
that at some
some
point.
people don't get this idea if they see it.
Yeah, Wiss Williams, I think, said that people in the audience were like generally concerned when she she starts breaking down a little bit while she's just shoveling cake into her face, and it's a good bit, and it costs her like $5 to do it because she has to buy a cake and shit. It's really smart, but no, this is not like this where it's a bit. This is this one-armed fat comedian looking for pity, honestly, and she's getting it in droves from a lot of comedians. It's not right because the worst part is
for the wrong reason.
Yeah, a lot of people are being like, she should sue this guy and Comedy Central for airing it, and it's like, no, this is not right. And Keith Paradise, I was talking to him about it, and he goes, you can't start censoring shit in comedy. And I thought about it, and comedians, we're magical people.
Yeah, because you can get away with a lot of stuff.
We can get away with anything. We have zero censorship.
How do you think South Park has been around for so long and constantly bends the rules?
Well, there's a slight difference in that where they can't say anything. Stand-up comics, I'll say that. Stand-up comics, we can say anything. There's a crowd for anything that we can say anywhere.
It's just you have to get the right crowd.
Yeah, to drop the N-word for a second, which is a great way to start a sentence.
Oh, yeah.
You could go to, like, some fucking redneck bar and be like, fuck niggers, and everyone's like, yeah! And you couldn't get away with that everywhere. But there's a crowd for absolutely anything that you can say.
Right.
And that's a pretty cool
Case
thing.
in point,
But
anywhere in Lancaster.
There you go, yeah. But there's the whole issue is, I keep reverberating on how I feel about it from one side to the other side.
Yeah, because
about how it's like the dude's a fucking prick.
Dick.
The dude's a fucking prick.
I don't think
is being.
I don't think he needed to say
She's being
her outright.
Yeah, everybody's
I think
really
that was a
wrong
bit
in
inappropriate.
this situation because
saying her
he's
full
an
name.
asshole and
That's
she's
just me,
like gobbling up pity for the
Yeah,
wrong reason.
at first I was watching this video going like, I'd like to see how she reacts to this because that was the thing. Like the video is
Like, bring it
called.
on.
I think the video is called "Overweight One-Armed Comedian Reacts to Ari" or like responds to
reacts to Ario Speedwagon.
Yeah, and she started off like okay, and I was watching intently, going, I'm excited to see where this is
like,
going,
where's the punchline?
and then she's pretty much, and then she starts going like, I have overcome so much, like, oh, this is what this is gonna be now, huh?
Next, he'll be telling us to leave Brittany alone.
You know what? There's some similarities between those things, but it's I mean,
okay. So
I almost sent it to you so you could watch these things and I could get a response for you, but yeah, because I should have.
That tiger was choking.
That's your link.
That's the links with the frog in the throat.
Yeah.
Roar. Yeah.
I think I had a rabbit in my throat.
Literally. Yeah.
So it's going to get to be a little bit of real talk now because there's this topic
that wasn't real talk.
Well, this is going to be more real talk.
Oh, more real talk, realer talk.
I'm really interested in what you guys think about this.
Oh my!
It's kind of the.
Let me get my brain working again.
The evolution, the way that the internet is taking us, bringing us to new levels of education. So, a couple days ago, I think actually maybe more like a week ago, Tom Scott put out a video on his channel explaining like the very basics of sex ed.
Yes. He's done that before. It's like the third one he's done.
Yeah, I know he's done it before.
And they're clever. They're fun.
Yeah, they're very condensed and they're to the point, and that I think my dog is drowning. It's like when my other dog gets really angry, he goes,
swallow, dog, swallow.
One time I saw him doing that, and he just like ran around jumping 3 times in the yard. He just went, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's going in the next greatest bit sounds.
Oh, yeah, that's a sound for you.
Excuse me.
But anyway.
Okay,
yeah.
Tom Scott. Did
Yeah.
you know? I found out he works on those "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" videos.
Does he?
Yes, he does. I watched the newest one, and
Is it terrifying as usual?
It's pretty good. His name's in the credits.
Pretty creepy.
And I'm like,
Okay.
as like an executive producer, I'm like, fuck yeah! No wonder they're so awesome.
But yeah, he put out these various videos that are really clever, to the point,
Yeah,
informative,
it's how you should do videos like that.
on sex ed. I want to know, do you guys think that this is the way of the future? Because parents, generally, my parents weren't like this. I don't know if you guys felt this, had the same, like, like being introduced to anything sexual related, like were your parents like not very willing to explain things? Because my parents, if I just asked them something, they just fucking tell me.
Yeah,
It didn't matter what it was.
That's
They
what
just tell me.
I feel like my parents, they never really like outright talk to me about it. But if I were to approach them about it, I think they would have been, you know.
See, I brought this up exclusively because I know Amber has something
Amber
to
is
say.
snickering.
My parents still haven't had the talk with me. They just assumed that my school had the talk with me.
Okay.
In 10th grade.
Is there anything you want to know, Amber? We're here for you. We're here to, we will refer you to Tom Scott, honestly.
No, but seriously, like, they never, like, nothing, like, not even, like...
Not a single mention or anything.
No, not even, like, not, like, even sex stuff, like... Puberty, like
okay.
I thought about that shit.
Yeah, because this
Actually,
video does talk mostly about puberty.
Yeah.
My dad did give me one piece of advice that was pretty goddamn
Don't
funny.
stick your dick in crazy. That's all I got to say.
Good talk, son.
Don't even make me bring up Spring Break '98.
This was a little while ago, like right around the time that I was dating my girlfriend, and he was like, "Make sure that you put rubber to the road before you're good to go." That was the exact word.
That's especially funny
That was
because
the exact word
he
used.
drives like stock cars.
Sprint cars.
Sprint cars.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Every euphemism is stock car.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, just make sure before you put.
It's like a stock euphemism.
Wait, there was one time.
Okay.
My mom was watching. It was either Dr. Phil or Oprah.
Oh boy. Now what you need to do.
And I got
Venus Feldman
home.
was on that episode.
And I got home and she was cleaning, and she's just like, I just can't stand how nowadays people don't want to have sex, so they just either they put it in their mouth, or they put it up their tailpipe, and it shouldn't happen. And
Was your mom his dad? That tailpipe thing there?
and then the other thing is,
Boy, wouldn't that
the
be
same
the
day,
weirdest fucking thing?
the same day, she said, people need to just learn to put a helmet on their soldier before they stick them into battle.
That's what Kyle Greenaway says.
And that was it. That was the only advice I ever had.
Wow.
Don't do anything, and put stuff on before you don't do anything.
So were you educated by school or something else then?
School, like, had some, like,
Yeah.
sex ed stuff.
Because
But
my school, there was a huge debacle with sex ed. The gym teacher, the female gym teacher of my high school, was very adamant about like really informing the kids in my high school. And indeed, in 11th grade,
Indeed.
in 11th grade, our health class was 75 to 80% that.
Yeah.
Just an extended explanation about anything dealing with that. And she caught a lot of slack from the school board because because for the stupidest reason too. The school board is like, well, we don't know, we're not sure if we're comfortable with you talking about that to the students because that's really not God's way.
Oh, that hurts.
School board.
Yeah.
School board said that.
Yeah.
public school board.
Public school board said that.
Oh, good old public
And
school.
so she kept doing it out of spite.
Oh, yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was a great class
Cool.
for that. But yeah, no. It was for me. It was just I asked any question. My parents were always ready to talk about it. So the point I'm getting at here is: do you think that kids who aren't taught this sort of thing, do you think that they'll start going to the internet, looking up these things to find out for themselves?
I think they already were.
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But do you think that's the way of the future? Where parents, if they're uncomfortable,
Probably.
they'll just be like, "Here's a video, go watch."
Probably.
Or
Yeah.
go over
Yeah.
here."
I'll be in the corner with
I'll
my
be-
banky.
Yeah.
If it's
too
not already
old.
happening, it will happen.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And I think
I'm pretty sure
I
it's already
think those videos that Tom Scott put out, because he's already a fucking brilliant guy.
Oh my god, he's a genius. He's a writing genius.
Yeah, he really is.
What was the live action one he put out like a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know.
He put out a new one that I thought was really clever. I'm gonna look it up so I can tell you what it was, because I should.
But yeah, I'm glad those exist because I know that a lot of parents are usually not very into talking about it.
I'm sure they existed somewhere. It just wasn't probably presented in such a genius comedic way.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he's the first or the last. I'm just saying that was the one that particularly caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's cool that's happening, because the internet is a place where you can just find whatever you're looking for, and that wasn't there 20 years ago.
Pterodactyl porn.
Right.
Pterodactyl porn, if you're really into that.
Oh, he's put out like 4 things.
Yeah, I know. He's
They're
put
all
out a
good.
couple of them.
That
This
one-
most recent one was about puberty, and I think it did a really good job about it.
Oh, I meant just funny live action stuff.
Oh,
There's been like 4 of those since the last time we've talked about it. This is some really, really cool stuff. I mean, he's a writing genius. I wish we could write that fast. You know?
Yeah. Well, also, our footage takes a
It
long
takes
time.
forever, dude. I'm on scene 4 out of 5 now.
Well, you're getting there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not doing it as fast as I probably could be.
That's all right.
But yeah.
We have some more shorts in mind.
Yeah, I'm excited. I recently was rethinking about the tech savvy one. That's
Which
the
one
one
was
with
that?
the batteries.
Oh yeah, I like
I'm
that.
not going
one.
to say too much more than that.
Yeah,
but I also thought about how well Game Grumps could pull that off.
Yeah.
If Barry was the straight man and Ross was the other one,
Yeah.
and Aaron is the third person. I mean, you know how the script goes,
Yeah, I
so
know
that's
how it
all I
goes.
can really say about that. But that would work out.
I'm
really
excited
well.
to do the interrogation one, the one that Amber
had
the concept for, and I just wrote it in like an hour.
It's a really good script. We just need
just
a
need to work with it.
location.
Yeah, I know, because
That's
that
our
one
problem.
we don't really have much of a budget here.
Well, we don't necessarily need a
We
budget.
just need a place,
If we can
we
figure
need-
out how to make a place look like what we need it
Yeah,
to.
we need a place that looks like a police office. That's all I'm going to say.
I think it was Bernie on one of the Rooster Teeth podcasts who was talking about making videos, like live action stuff, and he says the thing about videos is that you only need what the camera is viewing to look nice.
Right.
Everything else around it to the inch could be just messy bullshit.
It's like business people who go on Skype wearing like really nice suits, but they're not wearing pants.
Yeah, that's exactly
Or
what it is.
fuzzy pants.
The
Or
only
fuzzy
thing,
pants.
the only area of a room that matters is this place where the camera's pointed, and
Right.
everything else can suck. So I mean, we can. I'm sure somewhere we could move
you could
things
finagle it.
around.
Yeah,
We
because,
can make
like,
it work.
It's an interrogation room, so all we need is a table and chairs.
Yeah.
So
We could even like clear out some space in my basement.
That's what
because
I
it's
was
all
thinking.
Cinder
Yeah.
blocks.
It's
The only
probably
problem
that's a
is,
good start.
Writing.
we've only recorded we've only filmed something in my basement once.
Yeah.
And you weren't able to see it very well because there was a mattress behind us. But my basement is littered with graffiti all over the
Right.
walls.
We would have to remove that. I would say.
Yeah. It's not like anybody goes down there anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So if we cleared out a space, we could probably
I think you can
Make
work
something
with
with
some
that.
clever camera angles. You can make a lot of things.
Yeah, because the great thing about cinematography is that you can fool people very easily
Yeah.
into seeing, because if you get immersed enough into what you're watching, you'll believe anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
We did a scene like that for the short we have coming out whenever it's good to go.
Yeah.
Where we were in one section of the hallway, but
Yeah.
then the other person
it
looking at
didn't
the other section of the hallway is somewhere
didn't
else.
actually
Right.
match up with the plan of the house, but
Yeah,
the way that
it's
we
gonna
filmed
look.
it
it's
looked
gonna look
like
right.
it was straight on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look right.
Yeah, I'm excited to do more shorts. I think
Yeah.
now that I'm in charge, we need to pick it up.
That tech savvy one, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
That's my favorite script I've ever written.
I really want to do the slow play again.
Yeah, we should do that one. How many people are in that? It's 4, right?
4, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the 4 of us could pull it off at some point
Yeah.
when we have schedules that coincide at night. It has to be at night.
Right.
It's a
My
night-
only
it's a night
favorite part
script.
about our original filming was when Riley had this major voice crack in one of the takes,
Yeah.
in which
yeah.
there's a scene in which he was making a sandwich, and that sandwich ended up being very gross because he continuously spread mayonnaise on it.
Yeah,
And he
every
ate it
scene,
he ate it
you
anyway
had to
after
put a
we were
little bit
done.
of mayonnaise on it,
Yeah,
and we
he-
did it like 9 times. Yeah,
He ate that sandwich afterward anyway.
I have filmed that short I think 5 times because when we filmed it here, it was for a class project,
Yeah,
and we
all
were
the,
given.
all the video got.
Yeah, we were
screwed up.
provided with a camera. Like the professor had like 4 or 5 cameras, and he's like, "Hey, you can use these cameras." And apparently the one I grabbed was just like breaking down and was shit. And the video was always jumpy and never was quite right. And every time that we filmed it, it came out that way. And we kept trying different things to see what the problem was. And eventually we concluded it was the camera. We had to submit one of the least shitty version that we had done. And it was honestly the best one, and filming wise, because we did it at one of my friend's place, and I was the guy. All right, so I'm not going to give away a whole lot of the script, but I was breaking.
If we do it far enough in the future, nobody will remember.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I was the guy who had broken into my friend's house, and the friend I was with was the guy whose house it was, so he was the one who lived there. And then Rolls was the second guy.
Okay.
And there's a scene. I might have showed this when we were looking at it,
Maybe.
but there's a scene where. When we did it here was that Wes just appeared from a side room.
Yeah, with a lamp.
But what we did, with a lamp. But what we did at this guy's house was we had the person popping up from behind the counter, because the way that the building was set up and stuff, it was just kind of like a pop up real quick, and like, hey, what's up? So Rolls had to do a quick pop up.
Oh yeah, you tell me this.
It was like a 4-step process for him to get up, and it was funny as hell. Like the first thing that comes up is like his elbow, and then he's like, oh! It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Yeah, it was like climbing Mount Everest to get up on this 4-foot
Every time he gets
counter.
up, he knocks over a beer.
Yeah, yeah. And then the fourth person was
be funny
a
if,
friend
like,
of my friend, but it was pretty cool.
If Rolls was on this show enough,
yeah,
and on podcast
Yeah.
enough, and we did a short, we just have him showing up in a scene several times, just like accidentally knocking over something.
Yeah.
And then at one point he just shows up somewhere and he's like looking around, there's like a vase somewhere, and he goes, ugh.
That's pretty cool.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah,
But that would only work then.
That's the kind of thing he does, is
Yeah.
just knock shit over.
And eat the last donut.
And eat people's donuts.
Alright, I think it's about time to wrap up, you guys.
Me too!
Aww. Insert.
Oh.
Insert.
Insert
Did
awes.
you have a story or something?
Barry.
You can.
Barry.
Oh, yeah, no.
Go for it.
So Casey's been saving my life lately.
Have I?
Yeah.
I suppose I have.
How many concussions?
No concussions. See, he is a barrier between me.
Oh, I just remembered about
Does
this.
he bury shit?
No, between me
Oh, that
and dicks. He is just like a wall.
like literal dicks, or
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
literal and figurative.
okay.
Because there's just like, first of all, I don't think I'm that attractive. I know I'm pretty whatever, but I'm not gorgeous or anything.
You're not
Ugh.
Dorothy.
No.
That's in the description of our podcast. You know that?
Yes, I do. But I'm not like anything to like squander over. And there are just all these squanderers. Like
That all
Squanderers
acquiesce at
everywhere.
Planet Fitness for some reason.
most of them do.
Yeah.
One was at school the other day, but
Well, they're the people who are looking for the most, gratification.
They're looking for
right?
the most cake.
Oh, that too, yeah.
one guy.
I recently learned that cake is a euphemism for butt. Mm-hmm. So when we were talking about
Okay.
Regina,
Where is this a euphemism?
I don't know.
It's a Spanish black thing. Like it's more ghetto. I would
Okay.
So when we were talking about Regina, who just gobbles cake, I was having some issues staying composed.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
there was one guy who like I'm nice to talk to whatever, but I'm nice to everybody. There's one guy,
yeah.
he added me on Facebook, and I never wear my name tag at work. So how the fuck did he even know my last name, let alone my fucking first?
You know, at this point, I just think that there's like a giant, massive, like Truman Show conspiracy that
I feel like there's a
they're
page
just
called that one
they're
girl
just
at
gonna-
Planet Fitness and Empire Beauty
they're
School
just
who's
gonna
really
throw as
like.
many creepy people at you as possible.
But there was one guy that asked me if I liked to dance on the tube. And I was like,
TV, or?
well, first of all, he's from Cuba, so I was like, he doesn't speak English real well. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, you know, the white bar. And I was like, what? He's like, you know, the metal bar. And I was like, are you trying to ask me about pole dancing? And he was like, yes. I was like, oh god.
Could have been worse. You could have been talking about the D.
Yeah. The
Could've been
white
worse.
bar.
And then that guy that I showed you, his hair that I did, the Bruins fan who
Yeah.
did a
got it in the back of
fundraiser
his
and
head,
had to
yeah.
get Flyers colors with the
And he
flying
wanted to
P.
give it to somebody in the back also.
Yeah. Yeah, he, he was telling me about his wife and his kids and whatever. And then this girl who has been, like, she pretends to be my friend, but she's, like, secretly just, like, being a bitch. Because she, like, I'm shampooing his hair and, like, laughing at whatever he's saying because I was super excited to do Flyers on his head because I love them. And she's like, I can hear your flirting laugh in front of him. And I was like, it's not my flirting laugh. I'm excited.
What does the flirting laugh sound like?
I don't even fucking know.
Casey, what does the
And
flirting
also,
laugh sound like?
I've never actually flirted with anyone at school. So, like, I don't know who she's talking about.
Huh.
And so then, it's immediately after this, he starts complaining about his wife. Immediately. And then, like, after I finished his hair, like, and also shampooing his hair, he was like, oh, that feels so good. And he kept his eyes open and just stared. And I'm like, okay, if you guys get your hair done at a shop or anything, please never ever open your eyes and look at the stylist while I'm shampooing your hair. Because it's already weird for
Now
us.
that's all I'm going to do.
It's so weird. And,
I
like,
didn't
the
hear
worst
about
part is
that
when you're,
part.
like, you're reaching over them.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes, like, your, like, armpit is right over their eyes, and they're just, like, right up in there. And I'm, like, trying to, like, not put my chest over his head, so he has no reason to look. And then afterwards, I got to go to lunch, and he was still there, because there was a group of 4 of them getting done,
okay.
and he was the second to get finished.
Yeah.
And I came back, and he kept, like,
he
head
finished.
nodding. And he kept saying, Bo's number 1, which, if y'all don't know, Bo is my nickname. And they're all like, Bo's number 1. And I'm like, stop! And he just kept, it was just like, I was like, very, very weird and uncomfortable. And I was so mad at that girl. But yeah,
What
at
does
least
the-
5 times in the past 3 weeks he saved me. Also, that Paul guy that commented on the video
Yes.
and said this channel needs more Amber.
Oh, I agree.
I was like, I said something to him about it, and he's like, "That wasn't me. How do you know? You don't know that. It wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about." And then he went back and looked at it, and he was like, "I didn't realize I put my name on that comment."
Well, you can't not, really.
Yeah.
That's whatever.
That's sad.
Well, it's true,
Yeah,
though. The
at
channel
least-
does need more Amber.
Yes, it does.
Black Cuban guy, tall EMT who's way too old, Flyers guy,
The guy from Kellogg's who's missing a leg.
that guy,
The guy from Kellogg's who lives in his parents' basement.
that guy. No, his parents live in his basement. Even worse.
Oh,
It's all how you
role
look at it.
reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot that he has saved my life
So,
from
Aw.
dicks. He
What
takes
does the flirting laugh sound like?
he takes the dicks for me.
you know it. That is okay.
It was falling.
Thankfully for you, you have ice cream to protect you
Ice
from.
cream! Protective ice cream. If you don't know,
Like body armor? Or?
how I told him that I liked him was I told him that
This was a very bizarre conversation because through about 75% of it, I thought you were telling me you were gay.
This is true. So this is how I told him that I liked him. This is also a true story. When I was in high school, I was
Well, yeah.
As opposed to the rest of
no, like okay.
I really don't wear ice cream like body armor.
No.
Sorry. I lied to you all.
Okay, so
That was it. But
Where else does that get
Sounds like
said
that.
but here?
no, my Tiger laugh is not my flirty laugh. Do not confuse
no,
it.
it does a little bit.
Amber, are you flirting with me? Is that what this is?
No.
See, look, there it is again. It's like the pill
Stop.
burrito one over there.
Stop. It's Tigger. Shut up. Okay, so in high school, I was diagnosed as being lactose intolerant, which I'm actually not. So for years, I just couldn't have ice cream, but I was always like, "Ugh, I want ice cream. It looks so good. I just want it."
Right.
And then I was undiagnosed. Like they were like, "Oh, by the way, we were."
Never mind.
You tell your doctor, wait, no takes backsies. No take backsies, doctor.
No takesies backsies. No, but then my doctor was like, "Oh, well, when we did the test, were you actually like consuming dairy?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, well, that's why it said you were lactose intolerant because you to be tested, you actually have to be consuming what you might be allergic to,
Yeah, you know.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
which is the same for gluten, which also happened to me.
Gluten.
Yeah,
Gluten.
but so I found out I wasn't, lactose intolerant, and I
Right.
was like, wow, that ice cream still looks good. But I'm just afraid that, like, maybe I'll get sick from it. So basically,
You're afraid that
Stacy was lactose intolerance for us.
Are you afraid that the doctor is going to take these vaccines again? Is that what this
Stacy
is?
was dairy, and I was afraid.
Stacy was dairy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say something after the podcast that does not belong on the podcast.
Cool.
Okay, so that's
All
all,
right.
folks.
That's all
Yeah.
for today, folks. Join us next week when we try to fit a kazoo inside a backpack.
Oh, thank God you said backpack.
I was gonna say llama.
Join us next week when we make more really terrifying euphemisms.
That's our thing. That's where we excel.
Well, according to Wes Williams, our randomness is where I'm still pissed about
It's
that.
true. He's not wrong.
I know, but I don't.
I just talked about her wearing ice cream as body armor to defend herself from dicks.
Cake.
Don't talk about cake.
Well, talk about Cake Club.
For Amber, Lennon, Dave, and myself, otherwise known as Casey,
Otherwise,
and the Wall.
the wall. Why don't you participate more?
Participate more?
It's fine. You can if you want.
There's
to.
five. There's 5 of us total on this
Yeah.
podcast. We could use a 6th.
Because
Also 4 microphones.
Whatever.
we can set it to omnidirectional.
Yeah,
Hey!
we can make it work.
Also, I don't say much, so we can share.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm usually over here just.
you can just trade out with Amber
Half
every
of
10
the
minutes.
stuff we talk about is just
Like,
beyond
tag-
your
tag team.
mental
Tag team.
whatever. Yeah, tag team.
Oh, no
Turn me
thanks.
in, brother.
Okay, well, this episode's over.
Yeah, we should have ended this like 5 minutes ago. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Snuck it in there.